What's good, everybody? You know what time it is? It is time for Elevated Vibes right here on IntellectualRadio.com. Now, check it out, everybody. As I always say, the number to call to join in this conversation is 708-223-8953. Once again, that is 708-223-8953. Or you can hit me up because I'm a lone soldier today, y'all. So hit me up on Facebook Live, you know? All right, everybody. It's been a good minute. We all know that. But I want to say it like this. Officially, in 1619, this country, the land of the free, as it likes to be called, joined the rest of the world in the practice of oppressing an entire race of people. Now, everybody, let's fast forward today. That practice still infests our system of laws and values. Most recently, two situations that you all know about, all right, has happened to once again put this thought in the forefront of the minds of the people in this country. These two situations are the actions of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the murder of Tyree Nichols. So that leads me to say this. America, as you claim to be the land of justice, the light of freedom, I would like to ask you, what the hell, America? Straight up, what the hell? All right, let's get into it. If you all don't know, Ron DeSantis has been the governor of Florida since 2019, 2018. My folks out there in Florida, you checking this out, hey, hit me up, correct me on that that year. It's either 2018 or 2019. All right. Through that time, he has not only attacked the LGBTQ, excuse me, all right, that whole group of people, because he's also attacked COVID-19 protocols. And now he's attacking African American history. He's attacking it. Yes, he is, because he's trying to banish the course through colleges right now. And I think also through the rest of the school system, but to be, at least somewhat correct, I want to be honest, I really just think it's colleges, but still, you're trying to stop the teachings of history. You know what I'm saying? Of history. And yes, this is the beginning of Black History Month, but he is trying to stop the teachings of history, everybody. We cannot allow stuff like this to happen, because if you really look at it, and it has been surveys, experiments, all that on, children, looking for something out there, somebody just like them that would be an inspiration to them. We are not really taught that. All right. We are starting to get taught that now through, fighting for some of these teachings to get out here. But there are still some adults older than me, that has no idea of Black Wall Street. All right. There are some adults older than me who, if I were to come to them and say, who is Mansa Musa, and they wouldn't know who I'm talking about. But then yet you could go to those same adults and ask them about the Roaring 20s, They wouldn't know what it's about. They could tell you all about it. You can ask them or say anything to ask them about anything of Alexander the Great or King Arthur. They could probably give you the whole history. They might even be able to give you a history of the Russian Revolution. But yet, this man is trying to abolish and extinguish our history. And why, if many of you may ask? Because he, just like a number of other places, you could put Texas in that mix, you could put Oklahoma in that mix. You know, they have a real fear and issue with critical race theory. They have a fear and issue with the 1619 Project. Why would you fear it? If it's truly your history, you want to be honest, you know, and real about where you came from, then you also have to say what you screwed up. You also have to admit your mistakes. You know, you have to own up to this issue, because real talk, if African Americans were told to own up to some of the issues that we have had with one another and all that, you know, you can speak on black and black crime and everything of that sort. You want us to own up to it. All right. You want us to excuse me. You want us to admit of our wrongdoings and, you know, spend that time because we did this crime or whatever. You want us to do all that, but you cannot, you know, own up to the issues that you've created. You cannot own up to the issues of systemic racism. You can't own up to the issues of slavery within itself. You can't own up to the issues of where you have washed history to what you have to what you wanted. All right. You have to own up to these issues. Now, once again, you know, you want to jump in this conversation, join this conversation, hit me up 708-223-8953. All right. All right. Now, as well with Ron DeSantis, everybody, because he has more things going down there in Florida, but this same man, everybody's speaking about how he may run for president. You know, him wanting to battle Trump on that Republican side and all that, have fun, whatever. But still, the fact that you're trying to run for president, that you, to have this man possibly run this country, and we already have the issues that we have, where are the corrections going to come? Where are we going to get to the point where we are going to be better if you have people like this in helms of power? When is that going to happen? You know, you have to question yourself. You have to ask yourself these things, and you have to come to the to the point where you, those in the, how can I say, those that want to follow and just ride with the ruling powers to what is going on and keep everything as is. You say you want to change, you want this country to be better, you want this world to be better. Well, you have to own up to it, just like you ask everybody else to. Just like many of you, and we're going to talk about this, many of you would say, hey, why don't he just comply with the police? You're very quick to say that. But you're not even trying to have the understanding about what individual may have went through, or the stories that the individual may have heard, or he's seen somebody, or he or she have seen somebody else endure from, and all police ain't bad, everybody. So I'm not going to sit here and say that. But, and yes, we do need the police, but they need to get better on what they're doing. All right. But, many of you would be quick to say, why don't he just comply? Why did he run? Why wouldn't you run? Why would you be hesitant to comply when you know what may happen to you, what has been proven that will happen, that has happened, okay? With this, the proof's in the pudding. All right. But I got off DeSantis for a second, so I'm gonna bring it back to him and to what he's doing. All right. If we want our children to have this confidence to see others like them who have made it, who have made a difference, who brought things in this world or brought ideas out in this world to make this world a better place, how we gonna know if you erase that thought, that individual from what the children have been taught? Like I said, I can go to some adults right now. They have no idea of Mansa Musa. They have no idea of Hannibal of Carthage. Until recently, folks didn't know that he was a minority. Before that, he was supposed to be Caucasian. But until recently, people didn't know that and what he did. And those who don't know, Hannibal of Carthage was a general who pretty much began the end of the Roman Empire. He began the end of the Roman Empire. I'm going to say that again for y'all to understand, because we are all taught about the mighty empires throughout history. We are all taught on who may have defeated this person, blase, skip, whatever. But what did I just tell y'all? Before recently, we all thought he was Caucasian. Before recently. Once again, hit me up, 708-223-8953. Or you can hit me up on Facebook Live, coming with your thoughts on what I'm saying, if you like it or if you don't like it. And if you don't want to come off in general, you could always hit me on the email. Hit us on the email. That is the triple threat of radio at gmail.com. Once again, that is the triple threat of radio, all one word. Yes, it's long, because I know I've heard that a number of times. Your email is so long. Yeah, it is. All right. Hit me up on that if that's what you wish to do. All right. And come with your comments of this show, any past shows, any of the sort. All right. If it ain't myself, it'd be the boss man, Mike B. One of us will answer your questions. All right. So after a quick musical break, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Mr. Tyree Nichols. You are listening to Elevated Vibes Radio right here on IntellectualRadio.com. All right. We are back. We are Elevated Vibes on IntellectualRadio.com. And always, you can hit up the number 708-223-8953, or you can hit us right through Facebook Live. Today, we are talking about two things: the actions of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the murder of Tyree Nichols out there in Memphis, Tennessee. All right, everyone. I know you all seen it through the news. You've seen, piles of things going on through social media and all that on what happened to Mr. Nichols out there in Memphis. All right. Now, number one, let me break one thing down for you. There are specialized police groups, I think personally, through almost every major city in America, and then probably every mid-sized city as well. Now, you go lower than that, maybe not. Okay. And a lot of these groups run with impunity. They get to do whatever they want as long as they get results. All right. That is like having a pit bull that you treat wrong because, I gotta say, it's always that it was the pits that, had that bad look out there. But yet, if you treated a pit to be aggressive and to all it ever does is fight and tear up some things, well, that pit is going to be pretty tough. Okay. Now, like I said, having these type of groups is like having a pit bull that you treated like crap for the longest, and now you taking him off his chain and let him go do whatever he wants, as long as he comes back and protect the house. Well, what is going to happen when you do that? That pit is going to go out there and he's going to wreak havoc. And many of these groups, these specialized police groups, that is what they do. Now, many of you may be saying, oh, well, if these people would commit these crimes and be so wild and have all these criminal hotspots and all that, you wouldn't need them. All right. In a way, you're right. If the criminals out there wasn't doing crap. But now you go into the deeper psychological thing of everything else. And why are they out there committing crimes? Now we got to think about that. But then now let's flip back. All right. Everybody is either somebody's son, they somebody's brother, uncle, father, sister, mother. We go down the line. And you don't treat other human beings how some of these people are treated. Now, off that video, I know you all seen Mr. Nichols being savagely brutalized and killed. Savagely. I'm going to keep it very real. Now, Mr. Nichols, he was how can I say, he was a skinny man in stature. I was trying to think of a nicer way to say it. And some of these guys that was out there beating on them like that, all right, they had to be at least over 6'3", if not 6'3", and at least hitting about 280 or somewhere close. Beating with batons, stomping them and all that. All right. If you have the luxury, if you have the honor of being law enforcement, If you have that luxury, you have that honor, then you supposed to be held to a higher standard than being a bunch of thugs. Straight up. Ain't no it's no other way to put it. You are not supposed to do that. Not at all. And right now, let me invite, if any law officials are checking out this show right now, I invite you to contact me. I have no problem with that. We can have this conversation. Matter of fact, I would enjoy if we had this conversation. All right. You can always hit me up on this Facebook Live like I speak about. Okay. Or if you want to talk about it later, like I just said earlier, hit the email address. All right. Because we need to have this conversation because we need to have growth. We need to build for better. There's no other way to put it. Because we can't keep doing this song and dance back around and forth. You know, it when the criminals out here, and then we have to endure the punishment because this is all y'all want to say about it. Or as one, I just heard this today, y'all. One candidate, I'm not going to say for what race, I'm not going to say what city or any of that, but I'm just going to say in their forum, he was saying that criminals need to be hunted down like folks back in the day were hunting down rabbits. I get why the individual said that because of their past, but you have to understand also the power of your words. You don't do that. I still respect that individual for what they have done and what they do and what they have done for people. But you was wrong. There's no other way I could put that. You was straight up wrong. I would, for the same individual, if they was to come to say, Abdul Rashid, you've been wrong because of this and that, I would take it to heed. And I'll work on being better. And I would apologize if I made an offense to somebody if the apology was needed. Because the apology ain't needed, I'm not going to say, I'm sorry. That ain't going to happen. But if I'm wrong, and I'm man enough to say, my bad. All right. Now, we're going to keep this going because it was more than just those 5 officers. It was actually 6 officers, and then you had I want to say some sheriff deputies, and then also some firemen and folks, an ambulance driver, if I'm correct. Okay, medical officials, when you came and you saw this man dying on the street, on the side of a car, that is your responsibility. Yeah, it is yours. Even though you want to have a good repertoire with your Scorpion unit, well, I'm sorry, you wouldn't have a good repertoire with law officials, but it is your duty to aid and assist this person. You made an oath to do that. So, do I feel sorry that you got fired? No. No. I think you should take it all as a lesson, as an example, because this is what you're supposed to go do what you're supposed to do. Why these guys in this unit screwed up and did what they did to this man, you guys are supposed to go do your job as well. Now, back to those guys in that unit, because there's also a story out there that one of those guys in that unit, he pretty much targeted Tyree. I never been to Memphis a day in my life. So do I know people down there in Tennessee? Yeah, I know a few, but you know, he And I've kind of seen some of those ways with other officers. All right. You kind of get to the point you try to abuse your power to your liking, to your way. Now, one of these officers, the story is that Tyree was either dating or he at least knew the ex girlfriend, fiance to one of these officers. And Buddy had an issue with it. And that's why Tyree was targeted. I don't know. You got to understand, everybody, you have social media. Social media, sometimes it's right on point and it tell you the truth, or other times it's extremely far-fetched. It's one of the two. Who knows, But, I'm putting this out there and I'm saying that because, as I said, I've seen some law enforcement individuals, all right, who, and sometimes in their own way or whatever, would make a little bit of abuse of their power. And what we have to do, number one, we got to take all of them to task. All right. We have to say, okay, you see this officer doing what he's doing. You have to not, sometimes we be like, I don't know if I should report him or not. No, report him. It has to be, because he took this oath as to serve and to protect the individuals of that community. That oath did not say nothing about abusing his power. And so that's why I'm bringing this out here, and I'm bringing that to that point, even though, once again, it was a rumor through social media. There's no real proof yet. But we got to take them to task. The only way that some of these issues that we have, we, the people, because let's keep it real, we employ them. Even when I was talking about Ron DeSantis, we employ them. We put them in their seat. We pay their paychecks. So we have to put these people to task and no longer hesitate to do it. And no longer, okay, everybody, if we sometimes we'll sit there and say, oh, well, they ain't gonna do nothing anyway. They ain't gonna do nothing to them. They ain't gonna do nothing to them. Well, you keep screaming the crime that they done for the next 20 years. I don't care. This is what we have to do. If we gonna change this, it's the only way we're gonna change this, because we sit here with the status quo and not worry about it, then it's not gonna change. If we let them do whatever they want, we are going to lose out. And it's plain and simple. We are going to lose out. We have to stop these power-hungry folks from losing their mind and acting and doing the fool. And y'all know what I mean when I'm talking about doing the fool. We got to put a cease and desist on that. That's what it is. We have no choice. We have to do it, because if not, we're going to keep getting the Tyree Nichols. We're going to get trying to remember the young man from Colorado who was killed because of the ketamine, which I think that case is coming up sometime soon. We're going to keep getting all of this stuff if we, the people, okay, we, the people, if we don't step up and do, and I'm going to say this again, what the hell we got to do, because what the hell, America, if we don't step up and do what we got to do, it's going to be no change for the future. No change for the better. Trust me. All of the things that, because everybody, look, I'm 48, I'll be 49 this year. All of the things that, I saw when I was 20, and I looked at those who are enjoying the prime of their life at 65, 66, and all that, all of that, you know, a good portion of that, it ain't gonna be high with what I saw then, and it definitely ain't gonna be later on if we don't put a stop to some of these ways of those that we put in the seats of power. We have to stop these people. Now, I'm not saying, hey, go burn down your city. I'm not saying none of that. All right. And speaking of that, it seemed like everybody was expecting a whole pile of riots, especially out there in Memphis. They were expecting riots. And guess what? Most of your protests were peaceful. I mean, yeah, when you have protests and all that, you're going to have a little here, a little there of an issue. But a good portion of your protests were peaceful. Understand the most that was done in Memphis as a protesting that they it was a beautiful thing. They shut down I-55. They shut it down. Wasn't no traffic going. And I love that they did that. But it also proved to everyone out there that, we just don't go tearing up our own city. We don't do that. All right. Now, I implore to you all to get to your congressman, get to whoever in government, and make sure that they pass the George Floyd Policing Act. That is one of those must do. That is one of those that we, the people, we have the power. We must stop this. So we must stop this now. And we could do it without doing what they expect us to do, to give them more reason to do us how they do us. All right. And also, real quick, to flip back to what I said in the beginning about Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Everybody, he needs to get out of office. If you know folks in Florida, and I know a few myself, urge them to make sure that, number one, he does not get the presidential nominee for the Republican side, but also urge them when it's his time up for him to get out of office altogether, you vote that man out. He needs to lose his job. I don't care what excuse you can give for that man. He's got to go. Because if you don't, people like him, people like guy down in Texas, I can't think of his name at the moment. You have a few out there in South Dakota, Oklahoma, and all that. If you don't get these people out of office, they are going to keep trying to wreck us for years to come. Understand what I just said. They are going to keep trying to wreck us for years to come. All right. Well, y'all, the show's a short and sweet one, but we will be back next week. Let me remind y'all of this. This is something I was saying a lot last year. I was going to change it, but I think I'm at least going to keep it for this week. Let us all strive not to be great amongst men. Let us strive to be great amongst those of a higher plane. This is your boy Abdul Rashid. This is Elevated Vibes. We will be back next week on IntellectualRadio.com.